So welcome to the second session in the chapter preliminary. In the previous session, we have discussed about what is the overview of Companies Act. First of all, why do somebody form a company? What is the need for incorporating company? In fact, what I have explained you is tomorrow once you become a chartered accountant, if somebody approaches you like two or three owners together want to start a business, which one you have to recommend? That decision making process I explained yesterday, I mean in the previous session. And now in this session we are going to discuss about types of companies. We are going to discuss about types of companies. You would have already heard about types of companies in your CA foundation, or if you're a direct entry student in your degree classes somewhere in the first year or second year, you would have already heard of various types of companies. But believe me, after listening to this lecture and the next lecture, this lecture and the next lecture, after listening to this, your perception will completely change about what you understand about types of companies earlier and now. Fine, why late? I classify companies into based on some criteria. Suppose the first criteria based on ownership structure. Based on ownership structure, the companies are broadly classified into two types. Either a government company or non-government company. What is government company? What is non-government company? More in detail, I'll come to that later. Based on ownership structure, the companies are two types. Either government company or non-government company. Based on limitation on shareholders, based on number of shareholders, if you ask me from shareholders point of view, okay, not ownership point of view, ownership structure, shareholders, number of shareholders point of view, I divide companies into three categories. One person company, private company, and small company. Two different concepts, private company and small company. Sir, what is small company? What is private company? What is 1%? Don't worry, I'll explain each and everything slowly. And public company, and public company. And you know what, this again, public company is again two types: unlisted public company and listed public company. Unlisted and listed. We don't have in our syllabus unlisted listed classification, but I'll explain you at a glance what is unlisted and listed. Suppose if you are asking me types of companies based on the relationship have between them, based on relationship between them, either associate or subsidiary company. What? Associate or subsidiary company. And option 2, I mean sorry, holding or subsidiary company. And option 2, associate company. One is holding or subsidiary company. It is not a different company, understand? It's a relationship study. It's a relationship study. Or another relationship a company can have, what? Associate company relationship. Associate company includes joint venture. Sir, we don't know what is associate company. First of all, we don't know holding subsidiary. What are they? Don't worry, the next session is completely purely on this, exclusively on this. Okay, fine, I'll come to that now. I'll come to that further discussion. Now you would have heard, no, private limited company, public limited company, something you would have heard. Like you would have heard in either CA foundation or in degree, you would have understood private company means minimum 2 shareholders, maximum 200. Public company means minimum 7 shareholders, maximum no limit. A public company shall have minimum 3 directors, whereas private company shall have minimum 2 directors. Something like this you would have already heard. But today in this session, we are going to decode. We are going to decode why that word private limited is used, why the word public limited is used. Fine. Like we'll continue our previous example. Yesterday in our example, I mean in the previous class, in our example, what we discussed, 3 persons have started a business. Yes or no? So, I'm a chartered accountant. They approached me. Based on the requirement in our previous class, what we suggested, which form of organization we have suggested them? Company. Why? Each person don't want to take risk of other person. If other person do something wrong, he has to personally bear it. Company will not bear it. Okay. Or if this person, director, intentionally do something, investor don't want to take more risk. Maximum risk investor will take is his investment. I'm ready to lose my money, whatever I invested, but beyond that I will not pay. Unlimited liability I don't want. So we recommended them company. Now after that discussion, no, they convinced, whoever approached me, I told them, sir, for you company form of organization is suitable. They understood. Now they asked me, yes sir, please form the company, sir. We will go for company, sir. Please incorporate company. Second question, what should I ask now? I should ask them, sir, which company I should incorporate? I'm a chartered accountant. I'm asking you, which company I should incorporate? Should I incorporate private limited company or should I incorporate a public limited company? I asked them. They don't know what is private limited, public limited. They are not CS like you and me. Okay, they are not from commerce background. So they asked me, my client immediately asked me, sir, first of all, what are they? Private limited means what? Public limited means what? What are they, sir? They asked me. Now I replied them, sir, private limited company means private means confidential. Private means privacy. Private means secrecy. Private means no public. It is private, which means very simple, sir. You wanted to start a business with company law, right? Yes. Under company law, you want to do business, right? I'm asking you this straight question, sir. Tomorrow, after some years, when your business is growing, do you want to take new owners? I mean, you already own 3 owners are there. Do you want to take more number of owners at a future date? I asked him. Yes, sir. We are having thought. Yeah, we are having thought, sir. Okay, when the business is growing up, we want to take some new additional owners. Okay, fine. You want to take additional owners in future. So which means you want to sell some share of ownership. Whatever the ownership share you are having, you are ready to sell to somebody so that another person will become owner. Fine. Okay, fine. You are ready for ownership expansion. Fine. My third question is, whom you want to make as a partner, I mean as another owner, co-owner in this company, whom you want to make another owner, indirectly whom you want to make shareholder? Somebody who already knows you or anybody can come into your ownership, sir? I asked them this question. Sir, as you said, right now today you are 3 persons. Maybe after 1 or 2 years you may be increasing your number of shareholders. The number of shareholders might be 10 because these 3 shareholders might sell their shares to somebody. So that total shareholders increase it to 10. Later it may increase it to 100. So I'm asking, sir, 3 of you, if you want to sell your shares, to whom you will sell? Will you sell to anybody whoever interested to buy, or you want to sell to your relatives or close family friends or friends? He said, no, sir, why do we sell to outsiders? I don't know. We don't go for outsiders, sir. We 3 discuss mutually. We only sell our shares to a known person commonly to all 3 of us. Why will we bring some third party, sir? Unnecessarily outsider, why we will bring? He will come and put again, disturb entire business decisions. No, sir. We only go with our own circle. Okay, you don't want to go to public for ownership, right? Yes, sir, exactly. I don't want to go for public ownership. I don't want anybody from outside public. If at all we want to sell shares, either I will sell shares to other shareholders, or if they are not ready to buy, I will sell shares to my relatives or my family friends or my friends or common friends. That's it. Nobody else we won't. We won't enter. No, we won't let anybody to enter. I asked them this question. Sir, if that is the case, we have a concept called private limited companies, sir, which is easy to incorporate. We have a concept called private limited company where the legal compliances are simple. Okay, sir, what is private limited? Very simple, sir. It is a company where everyone will have a limited liability. And this is a company where affairs are completely within the private individuals, private people, private persons. Your affairs are not public. Somebody from public cannot become a owner. Somebody from public cannot question you because it's a private limited company, sir. It's a private limited company. Do you want an outsider to bring into your ownership? Do you want an outsider to enter into the shareholdership? No, sir. Then form private company, sir. then form private company. For you, what I will recommend, form private limited company. Okay, sir, but in future, no. All my family members, sons, grandsons, grandchildren, everyone I will bring into ownership, sir. My shares, after my, whatever future getting it, my shares will be inherited by so many my and my grandchildren, all that. Number will increase, sir. Sir, in private company, we have a maximum limit of 200 members, sir. Up to 200 members we can have in private company. Oh, then fine, sir. Absolutely fine. All three of us okay for private company. Why these people said okay for private company? Because they don't want somebody third party to enter into the company, a public person, outsider to enter into this company. It is not possible. Okay, private company. You know what happens here? Other shareholders also cannot sell shares to somebody else. First, if they have to sell the shares, they have to either sell to me or sell to other shareholder. Existing shareholders cannot sell their shares to public. That is what private company means. Not just me. The law restricts right to transfer the shares. The law restricts the right to transfer the shares. Means the shareholders cannot transfer the shares to outsider. If at all he want to transfer, we have to mutually discuss and transfer between ourselves. Outsider we can't transfer. If you want such a kind of control, then form private limited company. Now the word you see, private limited, a company where the private people, private individuals, private family members, they will only become shareholders. Public people will not. A general public like you and me cannot go and buy shares of some private company. It is impossible for us. Even if the shareholder is ready to sell to you, other shareholders won't agree. Company law will not agree. That is what private company. Sir, no sir, no sir. We shareholders are very open-minded. We want to grow our business into very multi-fold. We want to sell the shares to anybody. He can sell shares to anybody. He can sell shares to anybody. To any number of people, they can sell the shares. We don't bother about anybody entering into the ownership of the company. Okay, then in such a case, for you, what is recommended? Public company. Oh, fine, public company. Sir, but in order to, I immediately told him, sir, you want to open a public company? Yes. Now, sir, sorry, sir, you are only 3 owners, not 3. Minimum 7 owners are required for public company, sir. And minimum 3 persons should take director position. Minimum 3 persons should take director. This is the condition under company law, sir. By the way, sir, I'm asking, you told first you told us that to incorporate, to register our business as a company. Fine, we agreed. Now, second, you told us if we don't want any outsider to enter into ownership, or my shareholder should not sell the shares to some outsider, you recommended as private company. Otherwise, like where we can sell our shares to outsiders or anybody can purchase our shares, then you recommended public company. My first question, sir, are the formalities same like capital requirement? Like for private company, how much capital is needed? For public company, should I bring same capital? Is it okay, sir? No, sir. The capital requirements for private company and public company were different. Earlier, minimum paid up capital. What is it? Paid up word ignore. Minimum capital investment required to establish private company 1 lakh. Public company minimum 5 lakhs. Now that minimum capital limit is removed, but still ROC is asking. Company law administrative people are asking. If you want to form private company, bring 1 lakh first. Public company, 5 lakhs. So indirectly in the back end, ROC is already asking. Okay, but anyhow, legally speaking, you just remember about legal thing. What is in reality, it doesn't matter for you, not relevant right now. In legally, what is the minimum capital required? No, sir, nothing such. No limit is there. That's it. I hope now every one of you understood. When private company is suitable, when public limited is suitable. If you want to first of all, group of persons doing together business, if they want to register under some law, under which law they have to register, partnership, LLP or company, that you understood. Okay, if they decided company, which company they have to register, private or public, that also now you understood. Are you getting the point, everyone? All of you. So that's the difference between private limited and public limited. In a private company, minimum 2 shareholders are required. They cannot sell the shares to others. And in a private company, company law says maximum how many shareholders a private company can have? Maximum members 200. The maximum number of members in a private company that is permitted is 200. Public company, maximum number, no limit. No limit. Minimum 7 members. That's the difference between private and public. Bottom line, if you don't want a third party, somebody, an unknown person to enter into your shareholders list, or you don't want your shareholder or another shareholder to sell his shares to somebody else unknown to you, you don't want like that, then go for private company. You don't have any such formality, go for public company. That's it. As simple as such. It depends upon your future perspective. If you want to increase the size of the business later on, if you want to take more number of owners, then go for public company. You don't have any such thought. Business may expand like anything. Business may be very big. Still, only you, your two of friends, only three of you or your family members only will control the entire business. If this is the thought, then go for private company. As simple as such. Public company means what? Very simple. The affairs of this company are public. Anyone from public like you and me, general public like you and me, we can become owner. Reliance Industries Limited is a public company. Tata Consultancy Services is a public company. Tata Motors is a public company. ITC is a public company. PPCL is a public company. These are all public companies. Now, I want to become a owner of PPCL. I want to become a shareholder of PPCL. What I'll do? Today's, once stock market opens on a working day, I'll open my demat account. Some 400 rupees, I'll buy one share of the PPCL. That's it. I'm a shareholder of PPCL. General public like me, so easily entered. So that is public company. Suppose identify some private company in the market. You want to become an owner there. Not possible. In a private company, you can't buy the share. If you want to buy, somebody should be there to sell. No. First of all, do you think he's ready to sell? He is prohibited to sell. Understand? Even though he is ready to sell, he is prohibited by law. He is restricted by law to transfer the shares. A private company shareholder can sell the shares only as per the rules and regulations framed by that private company. A private company shareholder can sell the shares only as per rules and regulation of that private company. In a partnership form, you have a thing called partnership deed, no? Agreement deed between partners. Same way, in a company, we have a concept called memorandum of association and articles of association. This is nothing but similar to partnership deed. Similar to partnership deed. In this, there is a prohibition, there is a process, there is a restriction given. How to sell the share? If existing shareholder want to sell the share, how should he sell the share? The process is given. Only that process he has to follow in a private company. That's it. So that's about private limited and public limited. Now let's read that first. Then I will come to the discussion about government and non-government. So I think now every one of you understood. Write a short note on definition and applicability of company. I mean, definition of a company and applicability of companies. That we have seen already. Types of companies. Private company. What is a private company? A private company means a company having a minimum paid up capital as may be prescribed. Sir, what is paid up capital? I will discuss later. I think most of you, whoever is coming from CA Foundation or direct entry, I think you already know what is paid up capital. But anyhow, I'll come to the discussion about paid up capital in the chapter called share capital. There once again I'll explain you. Fine. So a private company means a company having minimum paid up capital as may be prescribed. As may be prescribed means how much is prescribed? Nothing. And which by its articles. What is articles? I told you articles is something similar to partnership deed. It is something similar to partnership deed. Okay, so which by its articles, what? By its articles, by its agreement, what are they doing? What it is doing? Restricts what? The right to transfer the share, which means the shareholder of private limited company cannot transfer the shares, cannot sell the shares. There is a restriction in the articles. And which by articles, by arrangement, by agreement, by a deed, limits. What? Limits the number of its members to 200. The maximum number of members as per the articles of association of private companies, how much? 200. Maximum number is 200. In case of one person company, the name itself says one person company, so obviously one person. What is one person company? Why the concept of one person company was brought? We'll discuss later. Next, further, a private company is a company having minimum paid up share capital as may be prescribed and which by articles prohibits any invitation to the public. Prohibition on invitation to the public to subscribe any securities. I told you, in a private company, public cannot come and buy the share. It is prohibited by the company law. It is prohibited by articles. It is compulsory. You know, in the articles of association, in the agreement, in the part, in the deed, in the company deeds, bylaws, we also call it as what? Bylaws. These conditions should prevail. These three conditions should be there in the bylaws. Only if these three conditions there in the bylaws, then only that company is eligible for private company registration. Otherwise, it is not eligible for private company registration. I hope you understood. So what is it? A private company is a company which by articles, a private company is a company having a minimum paid up share capital as may be prescribed, which by articles restricts transfer of shares, limits maximum number of members to 200, prohibits any invitation to the public for subscribing of securities of that company. Okay, next. Now, what is the maximum number? 200, no? Sir, how these 200 members are counted? Sir, I am a shareholder, sir. I subscribe to the shares of the company. I am counted as member? Yes. But the law has given some guidelines. The company law has given some guidelines on how to count the 200 members, how to count number of members, not 200, how to count number of members of a private limited company. Okay, who is considered as a member, who is not considered as a member. So there is a rule given. Not everybody, just because I buy a share, I will not be considered as a member. Okay, so suppose me and my friend together jointly purchased shares. We jointly purchased joint shares, joint owners. Now, are we considered as two members? No, we are considered as one member. So likewise, some guidelines are given on how to count number of shareholders or number of members. How to count number of members? They have given guidelines. Rule number 1. What is the rule number 1? Where two or more persons hold one or more shares, any number of shares, but how many persons are holding? Two or more. How they are holding? Jointly. They are not, I am purchasing my shares, you are purchasing. No, that is not joint ownership. Joint ownership means what? You and me together purchase shares. On the share certificate, both of our names will reflect in a particular order. Joint owner 1 Harsha, joint owner 2 Mr. X, joint owner 3 Mr. Y. Likewise, on the share certificate, the order it will reflect. Okay, they shall be treated as single member. How it is treated? As a single member. Next, so they are treated as single member. So I think now you understood. Joint owners, it may be 10 owners, but single member only. He may be holding 1 lakh shares. Any number of shares he may be holding, but still one member. Now, persons who are in the employment of the company, persons who are in the employment of the company shall not be counted. Actually, B and C together we have to count. B and C together we have to read. What do you mean by, persons who are in employment of the company? Persons who are in employment of the company. Generally, I recommend people to watch company law classes after finishing at least paper 1 or paper 5. You may be group 1 or group 2. Okay, at least some 4 to 5 chapters of the accounting. Then you come and listen to this, you will get more clarity. But anyhow, I'm trying my level best to bring out the clarity. Okay, what are they saying? What are they saying? Persons who are in employment of the company, they are not counted. Persons who, having been formerly in the employment of the company, formerly means once upon a time, not now, were members of the company while in that employment and have continued to be members even after employment ceased. What is this? Actually many interpret that past employees not counted. That's absolutely wrong. Like I'll tell you. Suppose I there is a company. I went for a job. Yeah, I was selected. I was recruited. Now who am I? I am an employee. I am an employee. Now I am working very well. By recognizing my efforts, company allotted me shares. What? Company allotted me shares by recognizing my efforts. Like, as a gift, they allotted me shares. There is a concept we have called sweat equity shares. What is the concept? Sweat equity. Or they allotted me shares under a scheme. What is that scheme? ESOP. What is ESOP? Generally, ESOP is a popular concept in startup companies. What is it? In startup companies. What startup companies are doing, for startup companies, investment is a very huge, difficulty, tight. Money circulation is very tight for them, but they want manpower so that their startup will be successful. Their startup will grow like anything, but they want manpower. So what are they doing? I'll call a chartered accountant. I want some finance manager. A CA came for interview. I offered him, I'll give you 12 lakhs per annum package plus 3 lakhs worth of shares I will give you every year for next 5 years. Are you okay? Totally your package is 15 lakhs. So this fellow candidate, why 3 lakhs worth of shares? See, we are a startup company and we are working on it. We are right now having decent market presence. Tomorrow our business will grow like anything. We will go for listing. Okay, we will go for public company and listing. At the time, whatever 3 lakh shares you are getting now, no, it will become 40-50 lakhs. Choice is yours. This fellow agreed and joined. Okay, he joined for 12 lakh salary. While in the employment, once 1 year over, 1.5-2 years over, then we allotted him 3 lakhs worth of shares. Now tell me, primarily why he is recruited here? For employment. As a compensation for salary, understand, as a compensation for salary we are giving shares. Tell me, logically speaking, do I have intention of bringing him, taking him into my ownership? I don't have intention. But because I'm having tight money supply, okay, what I did, instead of offering him money salary, I offered him shares. Logically here, is my intention to sell the shares to him? No. Is my intention to bring him into the ownership? No. But because I am having money supply, okay, instead of paying money as a salary, I paid shares. So here the objective of issuing shares to this employee, understand, the objective of issuing shares to this employee is not to bring him as a member, but to compensate his salary expenditure. So he is not considered as a member, understand. He is not considered as a member. Because for him, the shares whatever I have allotted is a substitute for salary, not for raising capital. Did he pay any money to me? Nothing. Generally, he don't pay anything. So that is why we will not count an employee for whom we allotted shares. That employee is not considered into 200 members bracket. That person is not considered as a member in the private company. Sir, suppose, yeah, I have joined as an employee, sir. Shares given to me. You are saying that I am not counted as a member. See, I am not counted, but I am a member. But I am not counted into the list. Like any other shareholder, no, he is having some rights on the company, right? Because he's a shareholder. Do I have rights, sir? Yes, you are having every right. You are a shareholder, you are a member, but you will not be counted. When we are counting about 200 number of members limit, when we are counting this legal limit, you are not counted. That's it. Okay. Suppose I worked for this companies for some 4-5 years. Everything went well. I got another offer from in another company. What I did, I just resigned in this company, went. Now, still the shares are with me only. Still the shares are with me only. Now I resigned and left the company, now in that company, that the company where I resigned, where I got shares, now will I be counted as a member? No. Once you are ignored from counting, look, once you are ignored from counting, ignored forever in the counting. Once you are ignored from the counting, you are ignored forever. The moment you are ignored from counting, you are ignored forever. Okay, so plus suppose you bought additional shares later, or else it's okay, leave it. Simple. Once you are ignored from counting, you're ignored forever. Just consider this. Okay, what I'm trying to say you is, see, why they're not counting me? Because though I am having shares, why they're not counting me? The shares are paid to me as a salary. That is why they're not counting. So because the shares are allotted to me while I am in employment, my former employer company allotted me shares while in the employment as a substitute for salary. So I am not counted. I came out, I'm working with somebody, again I got some money. This company, went for listing, my old company. Now I bought in stock market some shares. Now will I be counted? Yes. Now will I be counted? Yes, because the additional shares which you purchased, they were not allotted in employment. You bought them later. Now you are counted. Getting it? Simple. If you got shares as an employee of the company, because you are an employee of the company, later you got the shares, you are not counted. That shares, with respect to that shares, you are not counted as a member. You went out, you left the company, you purchased shares of the company with some other funds. Okay, you are now becoming a normal shareholder like anybody, you are counted. But remember, once you went outside and buying the shares from outside, if you are buying the shares, means it is public company. Understand, it is already a public company. If it is a public company, why do we count about number of members? Very simple logic. That's why I don't want to tell this. So if it is a private company, you are an employee. When you are in employment, company allotted shares, getting it, then you are not counted as a member. Once you are not counted, forever you are not counted. You left already the company, went outside, and you can't buy the shares. It's a private company. Simple. Over. If it is public company, you can buy the shares. There is no question of counting, because in public company, no limit. No, why should we count number of members? Because there is no limit. So that is what these 2 points together. Sir, suppose, can I tell you one thing? I'm actually a shareholder, sir. Originally, I'm a shareholder, sir. Okay. Me, my 2 friends, together we formed the company. Originally, I'm a shareholder. Now shareholders are almost 100. Example. Originally, I'm a shareholder. Now company has some vacancy for some job. I'm a passive shareholder. I just invested money. I'm just a passive shareholder. I'm not a director of the company. I'm not in the decision making. Once in a while, annually one meeting will be there. For that meeting, I will attend, sir. Now there is a vacancy in the company. I applied for the vacancy, got selected, and I became employee. Sir, now I'm an employee. Am I excluded from counting? No, you are considered. Why? When you got the shares, before you became employee, so you're originally a member. Once you're a member, you are a member. That's it. As long as you continue holding shares, once you are treated as a member, you are a member. Who is not considered in membership? First, he is an employee. In the employment, company allotted shares to him. Then only he will not be counted. That's it. So an existing member of the company joined as an employee, he is counted. He is counted. I hope everyone understood. So we'll do one small illustration of this. So in the 11th page, of this material, you'll find this illustration. What is there here? Question number 5. Flora Fauna Limited. Now I need to tell you one small concept. Sir, as you said, companies are 2 types, private limited and public limited. How do we identify, sir, whether a company is a private limited or public limited? How should we know? How do we know? By looking at that, how do we know? Very simple. XYZ is the company name actually. Is it a private company or public company? If after the name only the word limited is reflected, only the word just limited is reflected, XYZ limited. They didn't mention anywhere the word private, no? They didn't mention anywhere the word private, no? So it's a public company. What is it? It's a public company. Sir, which means you are saying for a private company, private word will be coming. Yes, exactly. XYZ Private Limited. If the word private limited clearly, the word private is clearly there, then it's a private company. Very simple. Now tell me, in this example, Flora Fauna Limited, is it a public company or a private company? Sir, private word is not there, no? It's a public company. Very good. So Flora Fauna Limited registered as a public company. They only gave information. There are 230 members in the company as noted below. They are saying 230 members. Really, are there 230 members as per law? We need to check. Okay, so they have given some breakup here. We'll come to that later. The board of directors of the company, okay, the company directors no, propose to convert it, means the company, they want to convert it into a private company. Oh, mum, gee. So the board of directors want to convert this company into private company. Tell me, for a private company, what is the maximum members? 200. But already here 230 are there, no? We need to check. Advise whether reduction in number of members is necessary. You cannot say, sir, already 230 there, no, 30 members should leave the company. This 230 is as per the records. But we must see out of 230 how many joint owners are there, out of 230 how many employees who became shareholder after employment. That also we should not count, no? Yeah. So 230 includes what? Directors and relatives 50. Yes, no, we will count. We will count. 50 we will be counting. The 230 breakup they gave. See, you see the total here. Total here 230. The total is 230. 50 plus 15, 65, 75, 85. 85 plus 100, 185 plus 5, 190 plus 40. So total shareholders 230. So this is the breakup. Employees how many? 15. They are not counted. We will take an assumption. What? We will take an assumption that shares were purchased by employee during the employment. Shares were allotted to him during the employment. Ex-employees. Shares were allotted when they were employees. So ex-employees means they were, for them also shares were allotted during employment. Not counted. 5 couples. Okay, 5 couples holding shares jointly in the name of husband and wife. Okay, 5 couples means only 5 owners, right? Why 10? It is considered as 5. It is considered as 5. It is 0. It is 0. It is 50. 50 means 50. Here it is 5. 5. Okay, and remaining other shareholders 145. 50, 0, 0, 5, 145. Total it 200. Are exactly 200. Since the company number of members is exactly 200, can they convert into private company? Yes. Is there any requirement for reducing number of members less than 200? No, 200 is permitted. Over. That's it, over. So as per the provisions of Companies Act, a private company means a company having minimum capital as may be prescribed, which by articles, please change the numbering, okay, which by articles restricts right to transfer the shares, limits the number of members to 200, prohibits any invitation to public to subscribe securities. Counting of number of members, please put the headings completely, ma. It missed. Counting of number of members. 1. 2 or more persons hold 1 or more shares jointly, excluded. They will not be counted. Persons who are in employment of the company shall not be counted. When he is in employment, during the employment he got shares. Only then it is not counted. Though the law is silent on that, the intention of the law is this. And persons who have been formally employment were members of the company while in that employment. An existing member joined as employee again counted. So which means by default employments you are not excluded. When an employee is not counted, first he became employee, then became a shareholder, then only not counted. Suppose you are a first shareholder, then became employee, you are still counted. Analysis. Directors 50, employees not counted, past employees because shares were allotted during employment not counted, couple holding 5, others for 145, total exactly 200. So no need to reduce number of members as the total members does not exceed 200. So that's about a private company and public company. Okay, now so we'll finish the reading and then complete this session. We'll finish the reading and complete the session. Now they have given a note. For private companies, till date, what is the minimum paid up share capital? Not prescribed. You know, the capital requirement, no, minimum capital requirement, no, it will not apply. It will not apply for Section 8 companies. Sir, what is Section 8 company? Company incorporated for charitable purpose. What is it? Company incorporated for social, charitable purpose. Condition is there. Capital requirement does not apply. Okay, capital requirements does not apply. When provided, condition is there, it has not defaulted under 137, not defaulted under 92. Sir, what is 137? Filing of financial statements. What is 92? Annual return. This you will get in 7th chapter. This you will get in, I think, 9th chapter. Accounts chapter is there. No, there you will be getting 137 information. So which has not defaulted? Not defaulted means complied. Complied, which means active compliant. We actually call this what? Active compliant. Active compliant means what? This is a company which always comply with law, which always comply with these two sections. It is always complying. Only then capital requirement is not applicable. By the way, is there any minimum capital requirement prescribed till date? Zero. Future, suppose if capital is prescribed minimum 5 lakhs, even then it is not considered for Section 8 company, provided it has not defaulted under 137 filing of financials, 92 annual return. Every year, every company shall file their financial statements plus audit report with ROC, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. They need to intimate. Okay, and they have to file annual return, summary of the year end data, entire year data summary they have to file. Okay, so if you're regularly filing, you are exempted, otherwise you are counted. That's it. Then what is a public company? Public company means a company which is not a private company and has a minimum paid up capital as prescribed by MCA. And further, this is a very important point, a private company which is a subsidiary company of a public company, which is a subsidiary company of a public company, is deemed to be public company. So a private company which is subsidiary of public company is also treated as public company. So for a public company, subsidiary is private, naturally that is also treated as public company. Sir, can a public company have private subsidiary? Sir, first of all, what is subsidiary company? What is subsidiary company? In our next session, I'm going to talk about one-person company, small company, that concept, and government company concept. In that next session, suppose if this is session 2, right, in preliminary, session 3, OPC, small company, and government company, that concept. That next session, 4th session probably, in that I will be discussing about subsidiary company, holding company concept. There you will understand much better. Very simple. Right now what you need to, a private company, subsidiary of public company, not, it is also treated as public company. So here we have given an example. A private company, private limited, is wholly owned subsidiary of ABE Limited, a public incorporated under Companies Act. A private limited wanted to avail exemption provided to private company. It cannot. It cannot, because a private limited is subsidiary of ABE Limited, which is a public company. Therefore, it is deemed to be a public company, and all sections, all regulations, all rules, whatever apply to public company shall also apply to a private limited, because a private limited, though it is a private company, as per the law, how it is treated as public company. That's it. So with this, what is private limited, what is public limited, we successfully understood along with logics. See, as it is beginning classes, I am explaining so slowly and detailed. And I hope you are still listening the classes at standard speed. Don't increase the speed of listening the lecture. I request you. That's it. Okay. So carry on. In the next session, I will be discussing about one-person company, small company, and government company concept.